You are listening to chartingwealth.com for Friday the 3rd of August, 2018. We see stocks up for the day, bonds up, gold down. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. So far, we see an up week has been forming. We see the derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. The price percent oscillator is heading up. Not as strongly as it had been in the prior weeks, but we are above the prior trend line on the weekly chart. We're below that prior two-day trend line. Now again, one more day for the weekly chart to finish forming. We look at the two-day chart, we can see how price movement has moved below that. The latest two-day candle, we saw the one form on Tuesday, and the latest one ended on Thursday. We see as the charts are slowly rolling over on that two-day chart, we haven't crossed over going down yet. We have the price percent oscillator still going up, derivative oscillator losing momentum. This latest candle ended as a green doji, which means lots and lots of indecision. However, tending up just barely, following a red down candle and a red open box candle over the last 6 days in total. We go from the two-day chart to the 4-hour chart, and what we're looking for is enough movement on that 4-hour chart to cross over going up. As long as the two-day and the weekly are still moving up. We had some strong movement in the afternoon. The derivative oscillator is losing downward momentum. That price percent oscillator is heading up now. Let's watch and see if we have a crossover going up on Friday. Might have a jumping in point then, or perhaps over the next week. So we'll keep our eye on things as far as the S&P 500 goes. Now, we go from the S&P to the NASDAQ 100, or the Qs as we affectionately call it. Now that on the weekly chart considerably weaker. We had a red open box candle the prior week, and so far this week we have a red doji. That means a great deal of indecision tending down. We have a two-day, of course, crossover in effect. The weekly is still in a confirmed up move, hasn't crossed over going down. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. Price percent oscillator, well, that's pretty much flat. Now we go from the weekly to the two-day, and we can see that price movement with the latest green doji, lots of indecision, tending up after two red down candles. Derivative oscillator's negative. Price percent oscillator is negative also. Price movements below the two-day. So again, we're in a confirmed down move there, so we don't have a trade on the Qs possible right now like we do on the S&P 500 with both of our weekly and two-day going in the same direction. We go to the 4-hour chart. What do we see? It's trying to cross over going up. Price movement sitting right there below the two-day trend line, trying to push through it. So we'll see what we see there, but even when that happens, we still have the weight of the two-day that doesn't give us a trade on the Qs. So keep your powder dry there until the two-day turns around, even if that 4-hour crosses over going up. That's where we are on stocks on Thursday as we go into Friday. What's going on with bonds? Another red down week appears to be forming. Hasn't crossed over going down yet, and may do that on Friday. We'll just have to see how much down movement there is. We'll let you know over the weekend as to whether or not there's a weekly vertical crossover going down on bonds. Derivative oscillator losing momentum, price percent oscillator heading down. We look at that two-day chart, and again, price movement well below the two-day trend line, crossed over going down back on the 23rd of July. And again, derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum, price percent oscillator heading down. We look at that 4-hour chart, and it looks like things are pretty flat, moving sideways over the last 2 days. The derivative oscillator is still in the negative, and the price percent oscillator is in the negative. Now again, we've got the 4-hour that crossed over going down in the afternoon on Wednesday. We have our two-day in a confirmed down move, but that weekly is still in a confirmed up move, so it doesn't give us a trade on TLT. We'll just keep our powder dry, watch and wait, and see if indeed we get a crossover going down sometime soon on that weekly chart where both the weekly and the two-day are moving in the same direction. Then we might have a trade possible. What's going on with gold? Gold still heading down, going into the third straight week of down movement. really all that down movement action started in earnest when those charts really moved over, going down starting around the week ending either the 20th or the 27th of April. The newest down movements really pulled the blue signal, well, the blue line, the price percent oscillator, away from the red signal line even more. But since the 27th of April, we've only had 3 up weeks since then. Gold has been moving down strongly, appears to keep moving down. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Price percent oscillator headed down. Two-day chart, we see this latest, strongest down candle that we've had in about 10 days. But we see the derivative oscillator continuing to lose downward momentum. However, the price percent oscillator did kink over, going down. Now remember, the 2-day and the weekly are in confirmed down moves. What's going on that 4-hour chart? I'm sure you saw it. Crossed over going down in the morning, so allowed you to jump into another short trade on that afternoon candle. And I hope that you took advantage of that. And we'll see how that continues to play out with those caveats we gave you yesterday, trying to wonder when gold is going to bottom. But again, we have the derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum and the price percent oscillator heading down. Those are good signs. Price movements below that 2-day and the weekly. So we'll see how long that play continues. And that 4-hour chart, again, hope that's going to continue working for us. We'll keep our eye on that. Remember, we are now in an inverse trade in gold. Hope that you are doing a practice trade on that. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day on Thursday. Go into Friday. If you've not purchased our book, we sure hope you'll do so. Charting Your Way to Wealth. You can find a link at the website under the daily reviews and also at our YouTube channel. If you get our email, there's a link there where you can purchase the book. Also, lots of great special training coming out to all purchasers of the book. The first is going to be our Bitcoin chart and the trading information we have on that. And then that's on the 7th of the month. And then on the 15th, we're going to have another special training released to you on the quarterly chart. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day. And again, appreciate you being with us. God bless from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.